Well, hi everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we're live on a Friday lunchtime, which means it's time to talk about coping with feelings. And the feeling that I want to talk about today is the feeling about doing exactly what you want to do. And the reason that I want to talk about that is because something that Jodi said to me, could I do a broadcast about not being your diagnosis? Um, and that's a really good topic. First of all, hi there to Jeannie and to Charlotte. But we have quite a few viewers who are not well and probably do a whole lot more than the people who are well, you know. And so not being your diagnosis is takes courage and it takes hard work and it takes a lot of things, but it most of all, from my point of view, I would say it takes an attitude. And the attitude is, I will not be my illness. I may have it, but it's not going to define me. And so our quotes today, the ones that I have chosen, are about doing what you want to do with your life. All right. As opposed to being told what to do with your life. And Jennifer Lopez said, you can't let the fear of what people might say or think stop you from doing what you want to do, or else we would never do anything. Yeah, and it's interesting, Charlotte saying, I agree. I will not let it define me. No, and it doesn't matter what um, you know, what you're going through. Of course, now that I've done this, now my app doesn't want to work. Bear with me a second, people. Wants to update, and we don't want it to update. We want it to work so I can talk to you. Um, okay, it's not going to let me do it unless I update. So isn't that amazing? It has to do it right now, right? I mean, it was all set up beautifully in just seconds ago, and now the moment I want it, it's yeah. Okay, we're gonna beat it at its own game. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Now, this is built-in obsolescence. You know how I hate that. In other words, I have got a program on my tablet, and my tablet has won't it doesn't have enough technology in it to update to the newer version of this program. Now, I call that pretty sick. So we're going to switch what it's going to do. We'll do the quotes on here. This is life, people. Never goes the way you want it to, right? That doesn't stop us from doing what we want to do. And that's the whole point of this broadcast. There we go. All right, so we'll have the quotes on there. And there's part of me that wants to give it the finger, you know that. Okay, let's do the quotes. So that was Jennifer Lopez. All right. So that means that on here, we're going to do the notes. Okay. And the first thing I wanted to do, of course, is to wish all the people in the US a happy Thanksgiving, because I know this is your Thanksgiving. And it always just makes me chuckle, as you know, because, the Canadians have their Thanksgiving in October, and very few people ever acknowledge it. And, and then, the American Thanksgiving comes around and they get very uptight if you forget theirs. So, it's all about, humor as far as I'm concerned. All right, so that's first thing. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you had wonderful. If you got any input on that one, let us know. And then just in terms of birthdays and important days, it was Trina's birthday in Cork on the 22nd. Obviously, it is Thanksgiving weekend for those in America. And I have my 1 year mammogram tomorrow. And I'll talk more about the 1 year stuff in a second. And of course, Jeannie is at that weekend where a year ago York had his stroke, I think it was. and ended up in a coma, I believe. Anyway, didn't recover. And so, thoughts and prayers go out to Jeannie. But Jeannie, I know you will do what you want to do. You will grieve where you want to grieve, and you will not grieve, and you will be grateful where you want to do that. And that is called control of your mind. And I know you have an incredibly strong mind. Um, so just hang in there. And then, just so that you know, and we'll talk about that in a second, Jodi's going to have an operation on the 29th. I think that's correct. Jodi, correct me if I'm wrong. And so really important that we keep her in our thoughts and prayers. And if we missed your birthday or an important day to you, please, please, please let us know, because it means I've missed it in the database or it's not in the database. How about this one? Tony Robbins said, success is doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, where you want to do it, with whom you want to do it, and as much as you want. Wow. How successful do you think your life is these days? All right. So, think about that. So I want to go back to Jodi's stuff, because, Jodi has a lot of stuff. As some of you know, she's a cancer survivor. And then after cancer, she ended up with lymphedema. That's where your body blows up. It retains liquid. The lymph nodes can't do their job well enough to clear your body. And so your body ends up really just like, if you've ever had swollen anything, it's like it's seriously swollen. And so it is really important. Oh, interesting. Jeannie's saying she also has her mammogram, her annual mammogram on Monday. And she's saying she had a lovely meal with friends yesterday. John, her son-in-law, I think, didn't come. Oh, no, son. John didn't come, but I decided to be thankful for all the good Thanksgivings York and I shared. You see, exactly what I said. She will take the best of this. Doesn't mean she won't grieve. Of course she will. But she will take the best of every one of these days and be grateful for every wonderful day she had. Now, they weren't all wonderful, I'm quite sure. I am pretty certain York wasn't the best of everything. But, it's funny how we remember just the good stuff most of the time. And that's the good thing. And I really love that. So going back to Jodi, so she's had this litany of stuff, and then she ended up with another problem. And then she had that bypass surgery, so that, because the lymphedema had put on so much weight that they did the gastric bypass thing, the sleeve. And that was great. And she lost hundreds of pounds. But she found out this week that the reason she has been so nauseous and in so much pain in her abdominal area is that somehow or another, her intestines have managed to, start playing crochet. They've got themselves into a bit of a knot. And therefore, stuff is not traveling through as it's meant to. Hence the reason she is so nauseous, and hence the reason she's in so much pain. Wow. You have to wonder about Jodi, right? She is just amazing with her attitude. We know that. But, it's just like, wow. I am certain there must be days where she thinks, what else? And then thinks, no, please, I don't want to know what else. Right? Oh, that's interesting. Jodi's saying that's a great way to put it, Sal. I'm going to tell the surgeon on Tuesday. Crochet. Yep. Could you undo the crochet down there? Something's been tying it up in knots. So the question I have of you, Jodi, I think it's on the 29th. I presume that's right. So, but what I want to know is, when they open you up to explore the reason for the crochet, 28th. Okay, could you remind me after the broadcast so I change my daytime, please? But or some, yeah, you know what to do. So what I want to know is, once they got you opened up, if they find that there is a quick fix, in other words, they can just undo the intestine, will they do it right there and then, or is it purely to see what the problem is and then to work out what they're going to do? Lionel said, "Well, you've always been a crafter." Yeah, exactly. Um, so that's what I wasn't quite sure of, whether once they got you opened up, because I know once I had something going on and they said, we want to open you up for an exploratory. And then what they did is they brought me back brought me back enough to ask me a question. And the question was, we found out what the problem is. Do we have your permission to continue? And I went, yeah. And then they, gave me more of the good stuff and I was gone again. Um, but just so I just wonder what the issue is there, just so that I can be aware and you know sort of keep tabs on that one. So I don't know about you, but it's just like all I can hope for is at the end of this, Jodi, that you actually go back to being your normal ill as opposed to the extrapolated version of ill. And I know that nobody can believe that I just said that I want you to be ill, but you understand what I'm saying. It's just like, you want to go back to how you were ill as opposed to how you've been ill. All right. Which has been a whole lot worse. All right. So here we go. Jodi's saying, I believe that it is a simple fix. It'll be done along with the gallbladder. Anything that isn't easy will be another surgery. Okay, so we will all hope and pray for you that it's a simple fix. And if it isn't, I'm sure Lionel will let me know. You know what I mean? It's like, what I mean is that if they keep you in for any reason or whatever, I'm certain, because I'm telling you right now. Yeah, you'll make sure Lionel lets me know. So, having said that, I just wanted to tell you something. How many of you remember when we were in pandemic? I decided I was going to learn how to bake bread. And I, I just wanted to show you that this is a loaf that I'm taking to dinner tonight, because yeah, I'd love to open it up for you and show you. But this is multigrain, and it has a little bit. It has a sort of about half white flour, but the rest of it is rye, whole wheat, flax, chia, quinoa. It's all in here. It's an incredible loaf. Jodi's saying, that's what I think, Jodi. Jodi's saying, yes, my normal would be a vacation. We all have our stuff, though. Look at the strong women I'm in company with, inspired. Yeah, and I want, and I'm going to talk about that as we do the broadcast, because I got some updates for you. Anyway, I wanted to show you, this is what happens when you do what you want to do, as opposed to do the best you can with what you've got. Let me put it that way. So there I was in pandemic, and what I said to myself, this is a great time for me to learn something. And I learned how to make bread. Now, since then, you will know I've learned how to make my own crackers, two different sorts. These are what I call thin crisps, and these are the more regular crackers. These are rosemary crackers. So, soft ones, obviously. So, but what I wanted to show you was this. Do any of you have one of these silicone mats in your house? Because I don't know why I never thought of it before, but when I was baking the bread, it got to the perfect color, I thought. Would you agree? Perfect color. And then, obviously I was meant to cover it. And for some reason, I thought, what if, what if I cover it with a silicone baking thing rather than foil? Will it do the job or ruin the crust? did exactly what I wanted it to do. And now, no use of foil, not wasting foil. So I thought I'd just add that in there because I know you guys like that sort of stuff. So think about the things that you could cover with a baking mat as opposed to foil when you're cooking this week. All right. Ella Fitzgerald, the singer, said, just don't give up on trying to do what you really want to do. Right? Where there is love and inspiration, I don't think you can go wrong. And so I think it's do your very best that you can. So on Tuesday, I had to go to the cancer clinic. Let me just talk about that quickly. So it's been just over a year since my mastectomy, and they want to do the 1 year follow-up. So I went to the cancer clinic. I was full of joys of spring. Yeah, I was quite happy to go there and, talk to the oncologist and everything. When I got to the hospital, half an hour early, I drove around for 3/4 of an hour trying to find parking. Can you imagine what that did to my stress level? And then, after 3/4 of an hour, the only thing I could do was to park illegally, which I did, and then have a sort of 2-block walk to the hospital. Well, it felt like 2 blocks. Yeah, the hospitals are a very big property. And then I got lost in the hospital and had to ask for help. I was in tears by then. Can any of you relate to this? And it was just horrible. So when I eventually, and I must admit, they took pity on me, I went to a nurse's station and I just said, I am so sorry to bother you. This is what's happened to me, and I am totally lost, and I am so late for an appointment with my oncologist. And what they did is they sent a nurse with me to take me a whole block back again to where I was meant to be. And the only saving grace, perhaps, was the fact that I realized afterwards that my oncologist was in earshot when I tried to explain to the receptionist how sorry I was late, but this is what happened to me. And I said, you can probably see that I'm not doing very well with this. I really am unhappy because the tears were running down my face. What can I say? And it's not that I'm a wuss. It's about how frustrated was I? It's like, how can you have a hospital where they don't have enough room for the patients they're meant to serve? And it made me angry, I think, most of all. But I hate being late. So that's how I started my meeting with my oncologist. Now, luckily, she was very understanding. And she said, by the way, Sal, if you get a ticket, dispute it, which, of course, I'm about to do, because guess what I did? And I said, I will. But whether they let me get away with it or not, I don't know. I mean, there's part of me that goes, I parked illegally. I understand that. But, the reason I parked illegally wasn't because I wanted to. It was because after driving around for 3/4 of an hour, there still wasn't any parking. So, anyway, we sat down and I said to the oncologist asked me a couple of questions, and she said, how have you been? That was the question. And I said, since I last saw you, or since I last started taking the new drug. What exactly is it you want to hear? It's amazing how they ask these questions. And I don't know about you, but it's like there are different answers depending on what you're trying to get at. And I know it's an open-ended question, so that the stuff that you're really concerned about will probably come out. But you know me, I like to get it right. So I said, since I started taking the new drug, first of all, in terms of brain fog, in terms of energy, it is a night and day. I am much better with the new drug than I was on the old one. I feel like I'm alive. I feel like I have not great energy, but I have energy, and I'm creative again, and all those sort of things that I enjoy. However, and I had a whole list of stuff that that when I went through the nausea, when I went through this, when I went through that, which are all part of taking these drugs till your body gets used to it. I said, but here's the thing: my hair is falling out at an alarming rate, um, which I believe is part of the problem, or part of the thing. But the other thing is my teeth are falling out. And I said, I have been on this drug for 3 months, and I've lost three teeth, and now another one has broken, and I'm gonna have to have at least two more pulled. You know what I mean? It's just like, um, you know. So she brought up the math. Oh, and no, and what I said to her was, forgive my vanity for a moment. But if you ask people, what do they know of me for? I think I would be fair to say that most of my friends would tell you, and not necessarily in this order, her incredible hair, her incredible smile, and her sense of humor. Oh, maybe my heart will come in there somewhere. But it's just like I said, what's happening to me is my hair is falling out and I'm losing my teeth. And I am not sure that that will not affect my mental health. So, yeah, that was, part of the, but what I had is I had it all down in a sort of chronological order because I've been keeping notes as I did this. And so I said to her, feel free to ask me any questions on any of this, but basically, this is the chronological order. And she asked me a lot of questions. And then she pulled up the math. They've got an incredible system in their computer that they can call up, and they go, okay, here she is. She's 76. She's a healthy person, or was, and this is the sort of cancer she had. This is how big the tumor was. And quite honestly, my tumor was 3.5 millimeters. And she put it in at 4 because she wanted to be sure that we got the math right. And was it millimeters or centimeters? Must have been centimeters. Anyway, and it was stage 2. They put all those sort of parameters in. And then what they look at is all the other women that they've ever worked with. Right? This is a big study done in England. All the other women of similar age, similar height, weight, whatever, dealing with this type of cancer in this way. Do you get the idea? So it's just like you are not alone. There are an awful lot of women of your age who have been going through this. And what they look at is, what is your survival rate? And how likely are you to get it back again? And those are two sort of things that are pretty important. Then the other thing is they also show you, and this is really important for everybody to understand, how many how many of them had died within 5 years, but they died of something other than cancer. You see, and that's I'm well aware that is part of the as Jodi will tell you, knows what's going to kill you. We don't know. It could be a truck tomorrow, for all I know. It's just like, uh, be grateful for what you got. So anyway, we did all the math on it. And she said, quite honestly, Sal, I just want to tell you that you have about a 2% risk of reoccurrence. And the drug you are taking reduces that risk by 50% to 1%, almost infinitesimal. So she said, I want you to understand, if you were at 75% risk and you took this drug, it would make a lot of sense to go through what you're going through. If you were at 50% risk of reoccurrence and we could drop that to 25%, it would probably be worth doing. That would be your choice, but it probably would be worth doing. She said, I cannot sit in front of you and say with a 2% risk that you should continue to destroy your quality of life. But it is your choice. In other words, you can do it, and we will support you in doing that. But just understand there isn't a lot of logical reason why you need to. And she said, I'd like to make sure you understand that you took the drug at a time when we needed you to, and you took it for basically a year, which means that it would have done what we wanted it to do for a large part. And therefore, the risk is even less. Not, we can't give you any guarantees, but it's even less. So together we made that decision that I will stop taking the drug. And they're going to check back with me in 3 months to see how I'm doing. But if so, then I will be finished with the cancer clinic, right? And I do this because they will close the file on me and say, we done our job. And it was so funny because when I left there, I went to leave, and one of the patients ran after me and said, hey, you got to wait for them to give you your follow-up date, which was very kind of that person, this guy. And I looked at him and I said, how kind of you, but the truth is I'm not having a follow-up date. Well, and he said, what? And I said, no, it's okay. He said, are you cured? I said, just about, yep. But you understand, it's just that it was just so cute. It was one of those moments that you want to remember. How about this? Think about this, people. What's your thoughts before they become words? What's your words before they become actions? And what's your actions before they become habits? And then what's your habits? For they will become your character. What's your character? For it becomes your destiny. What we think about, we become. And I want to go back to Jodi and her mentality, right? Because what I decided was I'm going to stop the drug, stop going to the cancer clinic, let them close the file, and go back to living. Go back to living. That's what I'm going to do. And so, and I said to her, how do I know that my body isn't riddled with cancer right now? And she said, it's unlikely. And I said, why? Because I haven't lost weight. But, it was just like, we don't know. We really don't know. And so I got back to my car, and sure enough, there was the ticket. And I didn't throw a hissy fit because I just went, yep, they were right to give me a ticket. I was illegally parked. Do you understand my mentality? However, whether I pay it or not is a whole nother story. And if you want to take me, to court on it, then I understand that too. But, it's just like, seriously? I wouldn't have a ticket if you produced enough parking that I didn't need to do what I had to do. And I especially was, aware of the fact that it was a slow time in the, that time of day was a slow time. Never mind. Anyway, a big story. So that was my 1 year follow-up with the oncologist. I also had the next day, Wednesday, I had the 1 year follow-up with my physio. Now, I don't know if you know, but here in Canada, part of the package that they give you, by the way, this is all free. I mean, other than the fine. This is all free in Canada. I haven't paid 1 cent. So along with the mastectomy, they will give you a reconstruction if you want it. Plus, they will give you prosthetics and stuff, which I didn't go for because I just bought mine on Amazon. And then, strangely enough, the other thing they do is give you physio to make sure that you have full range of motion going and everything's fine. Now, I think some of you know that I got weights. Hold on a second. So some of you will know I got these weights, and I want to tell you, they when I first felt them, I was really grateful that you could undo the top and take, part of the weights out until you got to the weight that you wanted. Now, these are fully loaded, and they are 4.6 pounds in each hand. Okay. However, I have done such a lot of work on these. I got the kick-ass one. Now this one, empty, is, I think, 4.5. No, just about 4 pounds empty. And then what you do, see, there's the weight. Then what you do is you put other weights in here, right? So this is all since, when did I start the physio? Well, let's say it's all within a year. But now I am up to starting with these, and I haven't got both of them with me, but this is the side that would have been weaker, all right? And so I can do this quite easily. I can do this quite easily. I can do this, which is stretching here. By the way, if you don't know that, people, stretching your chest is one of the most important. Stop talking, because Jodi just sent me a note. Jodi said, great place to hide the candy. So you understand, doing this is a really good exercise. So what I do is I sit on my couch and I go all the way back until I can touch the couch. Makes sense? On both sides. And then I do them both together. And that's quite a stretch. The other thing is I will take both, and then when I'm sitting, put both on one side, stretching this part of my back. Yeah. Okay. And then back to here, and then back to, anyway, you get the idea. I've made up all sorts of exercises. So yeah, Jodi's saying that's serious progress to get that much weight. The physio was really impressed with what I had managed to do. Mind you, she was to start with, if you know what I mean. And I asked her, because of the problems with my hips, what is better for me? Is it walking or is it doing the mini bike? Which one is better for my hips? And she said, doing the bike, the mini bike that I have, the underdesk bike, isn't putting any weight on your hips, all right, because you're sitting. It's not the same weight as walking. But she said, quite honestly, walking is really good for you. And therefore, I would make sure, if you can, to do both. And I said, that's what I want to hear. All right, is what do I need to do? It's a good idea to do both. And obviously, keep working with the weights. Do you know not to use weights every day? Just 3 times a week is more than enough. If you use them every day, your body sort of, it's a bit like candy, right? Your body just doesn't get the benefit from it. But if it thinks it's over, and then 2 days later you come back and bring those weights back, oh gosh, it's this again. Then it starts doing the work. So that was good to hear. And then I talked about, the steps I've been doing. But, as you know, I've been bronchial. And the bronchial, hi there, Nyasha. I've been bronchial for quite a while now. And as I left you all a note to let you know, it turned out that it needed antibiotic. It had gone to far enough that it needed antibiotic. And I still, funny enough, I've been taking antibiotics for a week now, and I'm still got some, I don't know if you can hear it, but I've still got a little bit of a problem. I may need a second shot at the antibiotics, but we'll see. So I said to her, obviously, with since I've had the bronchial stuff, I haven't been doing as much because trying to rest. But I said, basically I'm doing 6K a day. And she said, that's amazing anyway. And I said, I would like to get back to doing 8 to 10. And that's what I want to do. All right. And so you look at it and go, what will make me do 6 to 8K a day? I want to. It's not somebody holding a gun to my head, is it? It's because it's something that I want to do. I will do it. If I don't want to do it, I got all the excuses in the world. Makes sense. If Jodi, I wanted to go back to Jodi again because it's all a very, to me, Jodi is the epitome of what we're talking about. As is Erin, and I'm going to talk about Erin in a moment. Because Jodi had every reason, right? She can hardly stand. She is in so much pain that she's had to go onto liquid painkillers. Because every time if she takes solid painkillers, she upchucks them, so that's not much use. She isn't getting any benefit, so she's on liquid painkillers now. And so you look at all the things. Jodi's got more excuses than I've had hot dinners, and she cooked Thanksgiving dinner. Now she did it every day she did a little bit towards it, all right? But basically she cooked Thanksgiving dinner. And the answer is why? The question is why. The answer is because she wanted to. She wanted to do that for Lionel. That was her thank you for all that you do for me. And so you look at it, and time again, I will tell you, we will do what we want to do. And we will always have an excuse for the things we don't want to do. So the bottom line on the physio was that I am good. And I graduated, apparently. And I got a chance to ask some other questions that I had in terms of health stuff. Oh, but the funniest thing of all was we were on a Zoom meeting. And you know that feeling where you click onto Zoom and you're busy talking away and you can tell by the body language that they can't hear you. So what do I automatically know? I've done something wrong. And how many of you relate to this? So I'm busy looking, and by my body language, I can hear her. And by my body language, she says, make sure you got the mute off and make sure you got this. It's in the bottom left-hand corner. So I'm going like that and I'm going, no. And I'm typing in the notes saying, I don't have those options at the moment. I've already done that. But it's still not working. So I said, maybe we need to type this meeting because I can, and I was going to say, or you can phone me and talk to me because I can see you, so you can still do all the gestures you want to do, but if necessary, we'll do it on the phone. So I was about to go there when she went to type. She realized she was hearing something she shouldn't hear in her earphones. And I could see by her body language that she was confused, and I didn't know why until later. So she took off her earphones, and the next thing I saw her back with a different set of earphones. Wasn't my problem at all. Yay! I was so excited. I said to her, I cannot thank you enough. At my age, everything is user error, and it's my fault. I said, it's like in the days that I was smoking, everything was because I smoked. And I said, so to have a technical problem go wrong like this, and it isn't my fault, makes me so happy. Thank you. You've made my day. Anyway, the sad thing was I graduated and I won't be seeing her anymore. Oh, well. But the good news is I graduated. So I'm very proud of myself for that. I think I probably could have graduated before, but never mind. I think I have to do a year. Tori Amos said, sometimes you have to do what you don't like to get where you want to be. I'm pretty certain Jodi does not want to have an operation. But if she wants to be out of pain, she doesn't have a choice. She has to have that operation. So, you understand, it's not necessarily always what you want to do, it's what you have to do in order for the next thing to happen. So be aware. Now, the whole thing about the just to double check on the lungs, I definitely am a whole lot better in terms of my lungs, but what I'm noticing is there's just this residual. So I will. I did actually go and to my doctor, which is why I got the antibiotics. But I may have to phone him, as I said, and get a second batch because I've got a feeling that this should be gone by now, and it isn't. Should, that famous word. Okay, now here's some good news in between, and then I'm going to get to Erin. You know what I'm saying about you will always do what you want to do. Did you all get this message about I don't have to do weights, right? I don't have to sit on my bike and do 6,000 steps a day. And that's what impresses the physio people and the oncologist, right? It's what I choose to do that impresses them. Because they couldn't ask more of me, is basically what I heard from both. I have done everything that they asked me to and then some. And that's why they think I deserve quality of life back. I have to agree. How about this? Do what you have to do until you get what you want to do, all right? What you want. And that's so important for us. Hang on a second. Okay, I've got to tell you something. I had a problem in my studio. You know, I'm still trying to tidy that up. But every month, I go in there and I go, what one thing will make it better? Remember, that's how I'm doing everything. What one thing would make my studio better? And I'm going, I've got half my recycling in here and it's all in cardboard boxes and it looks untidy. It would be really nice if I could find something where I could keep that recycling. I've got the big amounts of recycling on my deck, nicely put away. But the inside stuff is a bit not good. So I thought, what I need is compartments. And then I thought, what I need is a laundry sorter. Do any of you agree with me? You know what I mean? Where they have darks, mids, and whites. And I'm going, that's what I need. So I got one. Are you ready? So now it has a lid, but you actually don't need the lid because of the way it's designed. So that's garbage, that's one-use plastic, and this is paper. Now, the reason I wanted to show you is, and I now have an extra table if I need one anywhere because it rolls. So if I need it in the studio, if I need it in the bedroom to fold laundry, it's just like so useful. I can't believe it. But the reason I wanted to show you that is I want you to think for a moment how many nuts and bolts went into it. And I have arthritis. And for those of you with arthritis, you will understand that every time I picked up one nut or one bolt, I dropped it not once, not twice, maybe 3 or 4 times. But you see, I wanted to make it. And because I wanted to make it, I did. And I didn't care how many times I dropped the nuts and bolts. Do you get the mentality? It's like Jodi cooking Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, Jodi's saying very relatable. Jodi has horrific arthritis, way worse than mine. But it's just like, if I want to make it, that's what I do. And by the way, it's really useful. I forgot to show you that. Because the bags actually come out like that. So I can take this bag I can take this bag out to the big recycling, and done. But I really did laugh as to how many washers and screws I dropped. And I kept saying to the washers and screws, you think you're going to beat me? You think if you drop enough times, I'll quit. But no, I'm not going to quit. It takes as long as it takes, and I'm okay with it. Because I will do this. I will do it. Because I want to. Right, let's do another quote here. Listen up, people. Pursue your passion. Be fearless. Believe in yourself. Dare to dream. Test your limits. Be kind. Stay humble. Find your purpose. Cherish today and never give up. I want to go to this bit about pursue your passion. My sister is 86. No, 82. Yeah, she's 82. She hosted Thanksgiving dinner for 18 people yesterday, and she's got a second one on the weekend, I believe, for another 10. Now, I don't mean a little dinner. I mean all the bells and whistles and, 16 courses, and she's that sort of a cook. Now, are some people bringing potluck type stuff? Yes, but on the whole, she does the bulk of it. And you go, why would any 82-year-old go to that much trouble? And the reason is it's her passion. She loves to do it. It's the one thing she can still do and enjoys. Makes sense. So Jodi will tell you that's part of the secret is to find things you can still do, right? Work with what you can do, not what you can't. And, it's just like work with what you can do and do the best you can within that. Jodi spends a lot of time with all her illnesses, but her joy is to, suss out recipes. Really enjoys it. So go back to Erin. I got a chance to talk to Erin yesterday. And yesterday, Erin was telling me, how many of you remember? Oh, first of all, backstory, because not all of you know this. That Erin has spina bifida. I think that's what she has. And she only has use. I mean, most of her body is paralyzed. She only has use of her head and her right arm. I think I'm correct in that. But in her head is her brain. And it's amazing what she can do with one hand. So I had the pleasure many years ago of actually meeting her. I went to Las Vegas, and while I was in Las Vegas, took a side trip down to meet her because I knew she would be worth meeting. And I don't mean that in a rude way. It was just like I knew I would never, ever treat my illnesses the same way again. And here she was in a totally pink bedroom. So cute. And I got to meet her daddy, who's now since deceased. But anyway, and I was in awe. I lay down on the bed with her because I didn't want her to have to strain her neck looking at me. And she and I sort of sat and chatted. Oh, no, I lie. We lay down and chatted. And it was amazing. It really was amazing. And last year, I think it was last year, she got a new gurney. In other words, they couldn't get her in a wheelchair anymore, which was too painful for her. So they got her a gurney. She has a special custom-built gurney. And this was like somebody gave her a sports car. I mean, I'm not joking. It was like somebody gave her a sports car because this thing, once they got her on it, she basically can go wherever she wants to go and do whatever she wants to do. It was the end of last year. Okay, thank you so much, Jeannie. So it's, yeah, as I said, it's about a year ago. So she has been doing incredibly well with this, but she's in sort of group home for people who need the extra care. But apparently her other groupies are a bit upset with her. And do you know why? This woman who has no use of her body except for her head and her hand is doing so much outside of the home that they miss her. So you ask, what on earth is she doing? Because I asked. She's in a program where they do arts and crafts and singing. Think about that. She can do arts and crafts. She got a hand. She can sing. Um, they do comedy. You name it. It's a whole program of incredible, entertaining things for people who are challenged to do. And she is having so much fun. In fact, she was describing it to me yesterday. And when she finished, I said, "So in essence, you're living?" She was existing before, but now she's living. She's out there 5 days a week, as opposed to lying around doing diddly. So how many of you want to cry when you hear that? Because I want to tell you, when I heard that, I just said to her, just makes me cry. But it makes me cry in all the best reasons. Because the best reasons are that you are doing that much. And that is amazing. And I'm so proud of her. And I wouldn't have the same awe about what she's doing if I hadn't met her. All right? It's because I met her that I'm even more impressed with her. How about this one? Jim Rohn said, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't want to do something, you'll find an excuse. So big round of applause to Erin, because she wanted to live, and to Jodi, because she wanted to get out of pain. And don't forget that. So now I've got another couple of things. Jodi, hang on a second. By the way, could I be really bitter and twisted? Because a year ago, I could walk a marathon, 5K race and qualify. And today I don't walk, I hobble. Could I be really angry about that? And the answer is, of course I could. Is it going to help me? No, it's not going to help me. What's going to help me is to get my body working as best I can for as long as I can. By the way, what I got, Jodi, I wanted to show you this. This is a roller thing. Hi, Andrea. I bet you it's so pretty in Germany with that snow. We're sending you one back again. And hi to everybody. All right, so Jodi, I wanted to show you this and the rest of you. This is a foot roller, okay? Costs $20. But while I'm sitting on the computer, I have it at my feet level, and I get my feet on here, and then, okay, do it this way. And then what I do is this, all right? And what it's doing is massaging all those pressure points. What do you call them? What do you call them, Jodi? Be my brain. Anyway, all those pressure points that keep your circulation going. Thank you, Jodi. Reflexology is exactly. She knows my brain. She knows what I'm looking for. So, but what amazed me was the first time I tried it, it was painful. Quite honestly, it was really quite painful. Now I can do it and it isn't painful. But what I can feel is it's really massaging the bottom of my feet. And what an incredible $20 worth. So one of the questions I asked the physio was, is there any way it will help reverse the neuropathy? What's neuropathy? Neuropathy is when the nerves in your feet stop working. And part of being pre-diabetic was that's what one of the signals was. I started to lose feeling in my feet. So no, it's not going to change it. But what I'm looking for, and this is what I'm trying to explain to you, I'm not looking to get back to more than perfect. I'm looking to halt the progress that's gone the wrong way. All right, so no more drugs, and now I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and build on it. I hope you get that idea. And doing everything I can, including improve my circulation to get rid of the edema. My body swells up with extra liquid as well. I've got 3 lymph nodes missing. Hello, all those things. Lots of excuses, or I can do the work. And I really don't have an excuse because I am retired. So that's it. The quote here says, "You must first be who you really are, and then do what you need to do in order to have what you want." Yeah, interesting. Andrea's saying she loves those rollers as well. They really, I'm amazed how well they work, quite honestly. I didn't expect it to work as well as it did. So basically what we're talking about here is a mindset. All right, Jeannie's saying, I never thought I would have to use a cane, but now I use one and it helps with my scoliosis. Now, I want to tell you what I did because, hold a second. I actually have a walking pole, and I've got it attached to my my purse. This is my sort of carry-all that I take with me when I go out. But I now have my walking pole attached to it, so I never forget to take it with me. Because now I'm okay if I'm in a small strip mall, and I've just got to get out of the car and go to the store. But if I've got to walk from one store to another or do anything, I'm not as safe as I was. So now what I do is I have them, have the bag in one hand and then I have this in the other. So that's what I've done. And what I like about the walking pole is when I don't need it, I can just unscrew it down to nothing. It comes down to about this size. So that works really well for me. So there you go. Mindset is the driving force in a quest for success and achievement. A mindset that combines discipline, think about this, people, discipline, strength, confidence, ambition is a powerful mindset. This can achieve anything it sets its sights on. A powerful mind can achieve anything. Would you agree that Erin choosing to live rather than exist took discipline, strength, confidence, and ambition? Would you agree that Jodi, who was dying when I met her 10 years ago, more than 10 years now, that she's still around and still causing me trouble? Oh, she nags me. That she's still here because the odds were that she wouldn't be. And, I am so grateful. And I'm sure all of you are. And then, Jeannie, the other thing I've discovered, and it's really important, is the fact that you are taking your cane doesn't make you a wuss or stupid or anything other but intelligent. It's a safety factor. The reason I like the walking pole is it keeps me more upright than a cane. I found with a cane, I was leaning forward, whereas with my walking poles, my body frame is better. Does that make sense, Jeannie? but I still have that ability, right, to stand straight. However, I do want to tell you that I just heard from the handicap tag people that they have sending my handicap tag. So that will help. That I will be able to get parking. No, I want to tell you, there wasn't even handicap parking available when I was at the clinic. Amazing. Do whatever you want and don't worry what everybody else is into. I think we spend so much of our lives trying to do what other people want us to do. But you will find what your passion is, right, as you get older. You'll still be doing it. My sister is still entertaining, all right? um, you look at it and go, see what you're doing. One of the conversations that I had was that I'm still doing crafts. I've been, did crafts all my life. So when you look at it, it's what you want out of your life. If you want to, but the other part of it, and it's a balancing act, is you cannot change what you cannot change. So if I'm spending my days going, oh, it's not fair. A year ago, I could walk around the 5 kilometers and now I can't. Oh, it's not fair. What sort of life is that? When I'm constantly going what I haven't got, I go, hang on a second, I can still get up in the morning. Hang on a second, I can still learn. I made puff pastry. The last couple of weeks, I've been making puff pastry. Now, this is not a big thing for anybody who makes puff pastry but anybody who doesn't make puff pastry will tell you the horror stories you hear about it. And you have to keep it cold, and you mustn't touch it with your hands, and all these things. And basically, I found out a really great way to hack it, of course. And it came up like this. So good. And the good news was, because I had my friend Laurie. Remember what I said? If you're lonely, invite people over, right? So that's what I've been doing. I make sure that every week or so I've got somebody coming to visit. It's a really good thing to do. And Laurie came over this week, and it was just amazing. We go back 30-something years, and we were just reminiscing about stuff from way back when. But I made another chicken pot pie, because I gave her a choice of what she could have to eat, and she chose chicken pot pie. So I said, okay, fine. And I made these little, I don't put pastry over the pot pie. What I do is I make the pot pie, and then I separately make little pucks of puff pastry, because not everybody, wants, a big slab of pastry anymore. But, it's like, have as much or as little as you want. Take a puck at a time and enjoy it. But luckily, there were bits left over. So there was food left over. So I put it into those 1 cup containers and froze them, because 1 cup is plenty, as we found out. But the other thing that I did was I put away, there were 3 cups worth put in the freezer. So I put 3 little pucks in there as well. But that left 2. And this is called living. I then got the no sugar added strawberry jam, and I slopped a teaspoon on top. And I want to tell you, actually half a teaspoon on each. I want to tell you, it was heaven. How about this one? If you do the things you need to do when you need to do them, then someday you can do the things you want to do when you want to do them. For those of you like me who are overwhelmed with stuff, I am learning. I'm doing it very, very slowly, but I am learning. It will take me the rest of my life. But what I'm learning is, when I finish the broadcast, I will stand here and go, what no longer needs to be on this worktop? All right, I've done the broadcast. what does not need to be there anymore. And I will do everything I can to put it away where it belongs. I have nearly got this whole unit clear, and it's taken me, I want to tell you, a while. Now, I say clear because, I hide things, but I try not to hide things anymore. I just like, put it away where it belongs. The reason is, what I realize is the crud I am left with is boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff that I didn't put away. Do any of you relate to that? Bits of paper on everything. So I have stopped having a whole lot of bits of paper. Wait a minute. I really want to talk to you about this because for those of you who are like me, I really realize that it's how I do things that causes my problem. All right? It's how I do things. Now and my computer's telling me we're installing a new operating system. So if I suddenly go dark, you know why. So first of all, I said to myself, for all the daytimers I buy and waste because they don't do what I want it to do, what do I want my daytimer to do? Okay, so I have one page that is the month. Okay, and then what I found out was I have notes on the right hand side, but I keep changing the day on the left hand side. So in other words, I don't automatically make more waste. I will turn the page here this week because I've got to the bottom here. Does that make sense? But then what I will do is this page on this side. Okay, at the moment it says Friday, Saturday, but then this is Sunday, Monday. I will then turn this over. And so I will have both. Okay, so that really works for me. And then I can schedule here I've got what needs to be done this week. And I'm not putting it into my daytimer the way I used to and then end up not doing what I thought I was going to do. Every day I look at it and go, what do I need to do today? All right. And then I try and slot that in. And I do what I can to achieve that. And it's really taken so much pressure off me. However, to stop all the bits of paper and also to make sure I'm not losing half of the things that I want to have in my, to remember next time, I have a journal. And in this journal, I write notes. I design here. And I keep important dates in here. And this is just like, if I had a telephone number that I want to keep, all right, I would probably put it in here because it's like quicker to go back into the journal and then I would highlight it so it jumped out at me. So 2 different ways of doing it. And what I've found is, yes, Andrea's saying my new goal for next year is I want to do a bullet journal for keeping track of my health and everything else. Exactly. You see, if we don't care enough, we won't do enough. And this is the whole thing. You will always do what you want to do. And I found I was spending more time writing lists and not getting things done than I was getting things done. And that upset me. I have a watch that, one of the questions the physio said, are you making sure you get up and move? I said, oh, yeah, do it all the time. I said, I got a system. She said, what's the system? I said, well, my watch will tell me every hour time to drink water. I said, that to me is not my water thing. I do that automatically. But I said, what I take that as, am I up? And if not, get up. And then I do, Jodi knows all about this, I do a rotation. I start by going to the washroom, it's the back of the house. Then I go to in the washroom, I will say what one thing needs to be tidied up. Always is something. What one thing in the bedroom, what one thing in the studio, what one thing. And I go through the house all the way. And then eventually I will get back to um, to the computer. But normally, after I've spent nearly an hour, and that to me is what keeps me going. I did, how many steps did I do yesterday? I just want to tell you why that works so well for me. Yesterday, and I want to talk about yesterday because yesterday I did not go near Billy the bike. I did over 5,000 steps yesterday, and I didn't get on the bike. So I was pretty impressed with it, and I'm still not 100% well. So Andrea, I think it's a really good thing. It's keeping track. I always remember in management learning that the staff will always respect what the boss inspects. In other words, if the staff know that every week you're going to be checking this, and this, they'll make sure that they've done this, and this, so that when you check it, they look good. Does that make sense? Um, and I always remember that, if the biggest enemy that you have in your life is yourself, I think. It's yourself. Why? You've got all the excuses in the world. So, Andrea, here's my question to you. All right. What are you going to give up to make time for exercise or more fitness? Because one of the things that I know is it doesn't matter how you move. You understand? If cleaning windows, if you do that, you know, as part of your movement routine, you are moving a lot of muscles cleaning windows. If you get up and walk while you watch the news, okay, you don't even have to lift your toes off the ground. Uh, you do that for 10 minutes, that's 1,000 steps. Believe me, I know. I do it all the time. Um, I want you to see not about doing exercise as much as doing movement. Dancing, whatever. I wondered, how many of you think you could ballroom dance again? Or whatever dance it is that you used to do so well. I was trying to think, would I be able to waltz today? I don't think so. Don't think I've got the balance. So, what do I need to look at? What do I need to do to improve my balance? Right. So Andrea's saying, I will not give anything up. All right. I would have a new timetable to achieve my goals. That's right. So it's not that you have to give anything up. It's about, but you need to make time for it, which means other things might have a little less time. And quite honestly, from my experience and probably yours, that would be binge watching, playing games, on this has been an absolute wonder and also devastation. Yeah, interesting. Jeannie is saying, I used to dance with my dog Derby, and he loved it, and so did I. Yes. Talking about dogs, Jeannie, I discovered a new program on YouTube. Probably everybody else already knows about it. But if ever you want to watch a feel good thing, it's called Sitting with Dogs. And this guy spends, a couple of days a week going to shelters and sitting with dogs that are shut down. You remember, like Bean had, or Bud before him, for those who remember Bud. You know, and he goes and sits with dogs and brings them out of their panic. And I want to tell you, I can watch that thing for the longest time. He deserves every view he gets, because of the work that he's doing. Really, it's just amazing. And, you can just watch these dogs go from shaking terrified to sitting in his lap and kissing him. And, what's not beautiful about that? And to me, it's like, wow. And encouraging all of us to go and do the same thing, right? Is to learn the skills, go and volunteer, go be with the dogs, go walk the dogs, go. You won't be able to go and sit in their kennels because you won't have the skills. But you've seen him, Jeannie's seen him, yeah, isn't it Rocky something or other? But sitting with dogs. Yeah, Jodi's saying incredible work he's doing. That's inspiring. I want to tell you, and every time he says, you can do this too. Go volunteer. And not only that, every time what he looks for is the dog that won't be adopted because it's so terrified. And 9 times out of 10, by the time he's finished working with that dog, sitting with it, doing whatever, before he's even finished, by the time the video goes up, all right, that dog 9 times out of 10 is already adopted. It's just Kanaka. Thank you so much, Jodi. Rocky Kanaka. Kanaka. Sitting with dogs. I want to tell you, it's my new meditation. Yeah, when I want to just relax, I will put that on. The only problem is when the watch goes, I have to get off my butt and stop watching. So I encourage you all to get this attitude. Remember what we said at the beginning, all right, which is we all struggle with stuff. It doesn't matter who you are. We've all got stuff going on. And a lot of us have medical stuff going on and debilitating stuff going on. But how much we do depends on how much we want to do. And so Jodi might not be able to cook a Thanksgiving dinner in a day or two like she used to. But she can work it out ahead of time. She can do the ordering ahead of time. She can do different dishes ahead of time and then at the last moment put it together. And I want to say, Jodi, I cried when I realized just how much you had done. Because I know you were in so much pain for, and have been for so long. And the fact that you went out this morning to go and do some pre-op stuff that you had to do, and you're still here helping us, I don't have words for that. No, there are no words for that. I know you do it because you love to do it. So to me, this is like, know what your passion is. If your passion is to live, all right, then you will do the things you need to do to live. So after I finish the broadcast here, I am going to have a little chat with the people about my fine. $80 they wanted to fine me. And then later, the neighbors' children are over, which means it's time for Killer Boggle. Right? We girls, the 3 girls, the guys go and do their thing. We 3 girls, we play Killer Boggle. You all know what Boggle is? This is Boggle. Okay. So what you do is you take a piece of paper out. You shake it all up. And then you got 3 minutes to get as many words as you can, but they have to link. All the letters have to link. All right. So, but this is the small version. There is a bigger version. It's the killer one. I call it the killer one. And it's just amazing that Betty Ann, my neighbor, her daughter Shauna, and myself, we're all highly competitive. There is nothing friendly about the game. You know what I mean? It just is hysterically funny. It's just like, how could three people? And Shauna is so quietly competitive because she's really, really good. But Betty Ann and I, not so much, no. So that's it. Now, the other thing that's happening, for those of you who know Siora, who comes to help me with the garden, she worked out all my Christmas lights yesterday, and she's coming back today to finish them. And now, do I feel badly about that? No. As I said, I used to be able to do all of that. I can't do it anymore. So it's okay to buy somebody to do it for me. And I'm not going to feel guilty about that. Does it mean my grocery bill changes accordingly? Yeah. But I will find the money if I want to badly enough. Do you understand? That's the mentality. If I want somebody to help me, I will find that money because I need to. So all of this is about not seeing it as a loss, seeing as, wow, isn't that incredible? I can actually do that if I'm play the game well enough. So don't lose hope. Well, above everything else, I would say don't lose hope. In other words, whatever it is that life throws at you, and we've all got stuff being thrown at us, it's not the end of our world. It is just another hurdle. And some of us have more hurdles than others. I am blessed, is how I feel. Right? I may have a few things going on, but I still think I'm blessed. Because I can still walk. I hobble. I don't walk, but I hobble. But if I do enough work, maybe I can walk again by the spring. How about that? That'd be nice. I'm going to spend the winter trying to get my strength of movement back and balance. And then I look at it. Here's the other thing. I look at the fact that I know what I'm going to be doing all winter when the weather's really bad and I can't go out a lot and all the rest of it. I've got all my crafts not only ready to do. I've already brought for making soaps. I've already bought the soap. It's all ready for me to go for this fall. Every month I bought a little bit more. I can do one more order, and then I'll have plenty of soap to play with over the winter time. See, I don't do it all at one time. Every month I add a bit more to it. And I've already bought the paper to make more Christmas villages. And I think Laurie made a great comment. She said, these are so beautiful, Sal. So beautiful. Who wouldn't want them? I said, I found everybody wants them as long as they don't have to pay. And she looked at me stunned. I said, it's the truth. It's the truth. So, but I said, something? I'm happy to do it. Why? I so enjoy making them. So I'm ready to make more and give more. The only thing is I will now make series 2. Last year I made series 1. So most of my friends have got series 1 now. And then group 1. And then I am now making group 2 for those that want it. So there we go. I am very, very grateful. How many of you know I'm very grateful that I've graduated from these to the amazing how I could not lift this when I got. Mind you, I nearly couldn't lift this when I got it because it had all the weights in it. And that was like 5 pounds. And there were 2 of them. So everybody have a wonderful weekend. Make it a wonderful weekend. Plan a wonderful weekend. But don't plan too much. Jodi, part of the reason that we end up not doing stuff is because we overdo it. All right? All right, so Jeannie's saying, I've already given your soap for Thanksgiving and one for a birthday. I hope that you got the same joy out of people receiving them as I get out of making them. And please feedback how people react to them. Because to me, it is that is my joy to know that people are enjoying it. So Do you get this message? The message is we will always do what we want to do. And Jodi, did you explain to the surgeon that we need you back sort of pretty toot sweet? Because, so like, what's the 28th? Rats. Oh, got my daytime in here. Yeah. So the 28th is the Tuesday. Okay, Jodi. You think you'll be back by Friday? But here's the thing. If not, we wish you, well, I'll see you on Sunday, but and we wish you all the best for your up, and we'll see you when you're capable. We know that. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, do the best you can with what you have and be grateful for everything you have. Yeah, Jodi says I'm planning to be here on Friday. Yeah. You're not going to leave me with my one brain cell. I need your other one. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, have a great week. Oh, not a week, a great weekend. And we'll see you on Sunday. Bye-bye for now. Thanks, Jodi and Jeannie.